Imagine carrying the legacy of an extinct species in your DNA. Yes, you heard it right. We're diving into the fascinating mystery of human ancestry, a tale that intertwines the destinies of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. If you're as intrigued as we are about our shared history with Neanderthals, hit that subscribe button and join us on this fascinating journey. Now let's take a journey back in time, to a period where our ancestors shared the planet with another kind of human, the Neanderthals. They were not just our neighbors, but also our genetic relatives. These two species coexisted for thousands of years, sharing territories, resources, and perhaps even cultures. The Neanderthals, a unique species of early humans, possessed their own distinct traits. They were characterized by a pronounced brow ridge and a more robust build compared to us, Homo sapiens. Yet despite these physical differences, we shared a significant amount of genetic material. The plot thickens, however, with the extinction of the Neanderthals around 40,000 years ago. This event marked a turning point in human evolution, leaving Homo sapiens as the sole human species on Earth. But that didn't disappear without leaving a trace. Fast forward to the present day, and you'll find that each one of us carries around 1 to 4% of Neanderthal genes in our DNA. This surprising revelation stems from cutting-edge genetic research, shedding new light on our connection with this extinct species. So here we are, Homo sapiens, carrying the genetic legacy of an extinct species within us. It's a captivating thought, isn't it? But it also sparks a profound question, a question that has intrigued scientists for decades, a question that we are going to explore in this video. So, the question arises, did our ancestors interbreed with Neanderthals? Diving deep into our genes, we find answers to our shared history with Neanderthals. Unraveling the DNA threads, we discover a captivating story of survival, adaptation, and yes, intermingling. Our history with Neanderthals is not just a tale of separate evolutionary paths, but a complex narrative of intersection and shared chapters. Genetic research, a modern-day time machine, takes us back to a time when Homo sapiens and Neanderthals coexisted, and more intriguingly, interbred. Yes, you heard that right. Our ancestors and Neanderthals were not just neighbors. They shared intimate moments that left lasting genetic imprints. Today, about 1 to 4% of our genes carry the Neanderthal legacy, a testament to these ancient connections. But it wasn't merely a case of shared genes. Homo sapiens and Neanderthals were distinct, each with their own unique physical characteristics. Neanderthals, for instance, sported a pronounced brow ridge and a stockier build, traits that set them apart from our ancestors. These differences were not just skin-deep, but etched into their very DNA, hinting at the complex process of evolution that shaped these early humans. Yet the question of whether Neanderthals and Homo sapiens were the same species or different species is a complex one. It's like trying to distinguish between two shades of the same color. Yes, they were different but also similar, two versions of the same blueprint, two interpretations of the same genetic code. The presence of Neanderthal genes in modern humans is a fascinating piece of the puzzle. It suggests that despite the physical differences, the genetic boundaries were indeed blurred. It wasn't a one-time event but multiple instances of interbreeding that left a genetic echo resonating in our DNA. But despite these differences, the genetic similarities cannot be overlooked. They serve as a reminder of our shared history, an ancestral bond that bridges the gap between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. It's a story written in our genes, a tale of survival, adaptation, and intermingling that shaped our species and continues to influence us today. Could love, or at least attraction, have been a part of the prehistoric world? A question that has kept scientists on their toes for years. The answer lies in the interbreeding hypothesis, which suggests that Homo sapiens and Neanderthals were more than just neighbors. They were lovers too, at least occasionally. Interbreeding between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens is not a speculation, it's a fact. But here's the catch, it was quite rare. You see, it's not as if every Neanderthal and Homo sapiens couple resulted in a baby. It's believed that only a small percentage of such unions were successful in producing fertile offspring, which is one reason why we today, as modern humans, have only 1 to 4% Neanderthal genes in our DNA. Another factor that contributed to this limited genetic exchange was the smaller population size of Neanderthals. Imagine a small town where everyone knows everyone, and then a group of outsiders swoop in. The chances of the townsfolk's genes spreading among the newcomers would be relatively low due to their smaller numbers. This is exactly what happened with the Neanderthals. Their smaller population size meant that their genetic contribution to the Homo sapiens gene pool was limited. But why was interbreeding so rare? Some scientists suggest that it may have been due to social norms or mating preferences. Others propose that hybrids might have had reduced fertility or that there were biological barriers to successful reproduction. And while the specifics remain a mystery, the evidence is clear. The Neanderthal genes we carry today are the silent witnesses to these rare prehistoric encounters. Clearly, interbreeding was not a common occurrence, but it did happen. It's a fascinating glimpse into our past, a time when our ancestors crossed paths and occasionally crossed species boundaries, resulting in a genetic legacy that we still carry with us today. Our prehistoric ancestors didn't just meet the Neanderthals once, they had multiple rendezvous. Let's delve into the intriguing world of our past, where our ancestors and Neanderthals had more than a passing acquaintance. Picture this: the Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, cohabiting shared territories for thousands of years, with their paths crossing more than once. It's a setting that almost begs for interaction, and genetic research confirms that it happened. There were multiple instances of interbreeding between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, not just a single event. It wasn't an isolated incident, but a series of encounters that left an indelible mark on our DNA. It's a fascinating tale of ancient connections and shared histories, etched in our genes. The presence of Neanderthal genes in modern human populations is evidence of these interbreeding events. Today, human populations carry around 1 to 4% of Neanderthal genes. This percentage, however, doesn't imply that all humans are descendants of those who interbred with Neanderthals, quite the contrary. The story of human ancestry is a complex tapestry, with threads from numerous sources woven together. Bear in mind that these interbreeding events could have been rare, perhaps due to geographical or social barriers. It's also possible that only a small percentage of the offspring from these unions were fertile, contributing to the relatively low percentage of Neanderthal genes in modern humans. Another factor could be the smaller population size of Neanderthals, limiting the spread of their genes. So, what does this all mean? It's a testament to the rich and varied history of our species. Our ancestors weren't isolated beings, but part of a larger, interconnected world. They engaged with their environment, their neighbors, and yes, even other species. So it seems our ancestors were quite the social butterflies. But here's a twist in the tale. Where's the Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA in modern humans? As we delve deeper into the genetic ties between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, this question throws a curveball our way. Mitochondrial DNA, you see, is a unique type of genetic material. Unlike the DNA that resides in the nucleus of our cells, which is a mix from both our parents, mitochondrial DNA is passed down solely from mother to child. This maternal lineage offers a direct genetic line unhindered by the mixing of paternal genes. So if we're carrying 1 to 4% of Neanderthal genes in our DNA, then why don't we find any Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA in modern humans? The answer is elusive, and yet incredibly intriguing. One theory suggests that interbreeding might have been rare, resulting in only a small percentage of offspring. These offspring could have been predominantly male, or if female, they might have been less likely to have children of their own. This could explain the lack of Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA in modern humans. Another theory proposes that the smaller population size of Neanderthals compared to Homo sapiens could be a factor. If there were fewer Neanderthal females to pass on mitochondrial DNA, over time, this genetic line could have been completely washed out. Yet another hypothesis contemplates that the absence of Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA might indicate that the offspring of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals were not always fertile. This could mean that, while interbreeding occurred, not all offspring could successfully pass on their genes. It's also worth noting that the presence of Neanderthal genes doesn't necessarily mean that all humans today are descendants of those who interbred with Neanderthals. Interbreeding occurred multiple times, and the genetic remnants we see today might be from only a few of these events. This leaves us with more questions about our shared past with Neanderthals. But one thing is certain, our history is far more intertwined than we ever imagined. Let's continue to unravel this complex tapestry of our ancestry, as each thread leads us to a deeper understanding of who we are and where we come from.